Hey guys, you're watching Gregorio Girls Makeup. If you're new, my name's Shauna and I run this channel with my sister Devin, and today I'm sharing with you my favorite eyeshadow brushes. So if you're new to makeup and you're wondering what brushes you should purchase to do your eyeshadow, just keep on watching. So I've got 7 brushes here that I want to share with you today. I have a lot of favorites, but I wanted to narrow them down to like my top 7 that I pretty much always use. So with any type of makeup brush, you can always take somebody's information with a grain of salt. You know, these are the best eye brushes for my eye shape, in my opinion. I do have hooded eyes, but all of the brushes that I am recommending I think are good for any eye shape, but especially for hooded eyes, just because that's my eye shape and that's what I've been testing out. So first I want to just start with blending brushes. Now if you guys have watched our videos before, you know that I have 20,000 blending brushes. I love blending brushes. That's like the majority of eyeshadow brushes that I own, but I wanted to pick my top 2 just to not overwhelm anybody who might be a beginner who is just looking, you know, what are the basics? What do I need? What's a must-have that I need in my kit right now as I'm learning makeup? So with that being said, the first one I'm going to talk about is the Morphe M535. Now I actually have just started using this brush and it was something that I didn't know I needed it until I had it. So what I like about this brush is that it is fluffy and it's not tapered. So I don't know if you can see that. It's just one big fluffy brush. And what I use this brush for is my first and initial transition shade. So I go in with this and it's just going to deposit the pigment of your eyeshadow all around the top evenly because it's not tapered. And then you can just get a nice wash of color right in your crease. And especially because I don't have a lot of lid space, it just puts it right where I need it, kind of up on my brow bone and then into my transition. And because the bristles aren't tapered, I feel like it just gives me a nice even coating of color. But blends it out really nicely, again, because it's so fluffy. Now, since this is the initial brush that I go in with, I always come back to this brush throughout my look. You know, if I go in with a second or third transition shade, I'm always taking this brush that normally has the first and lightest transition shade just to blend around my edges to make sure I don't cover up that first initial color. So as I start getting into like my second and third transition color and start deepening up my crease, if I blend those colors too high, I can always go back in with this brush and just like buff out my edges, and this just diffuses it really nicely and really makes your makeup look like it's blending into nothing. So my second blending brush is the Morphe R37. This is almost always the second brush that I go in with after I use the M535. So this is a tapered blending brush. Oop, I have crap all over my hands. So this is a tapered blending brush. As you can see, the bristles are kind of short on the outside, but then kind of come right up into like a little point or taper. So this is my favorite for my second or third transition color because it fits like right into my crease. So the eyeshadow color is going to deposit right on the top. And once you start blending, because there are these short hairs on the outside, it's just going to start to blend it out nicely. So again, since it's tapered, when I'm blending, it's not going to go too high and cover up my first initial transition shade. So those are kind of the 2 blending brushes that if I was going to say, okay, you need this, it's those 2. Also, keep in mind all the brushes that I am going to mention in this video are all Morphe brushes, which means they are all affordable brushes. So if you're balling on a budget, don't worry, all these brushes I think are under $10. And I will also link every brush mentioned in the description box down below so you can always check it out after you're done watching this video. Okay, so I know I said I wasn't going to mention any more blending brushes, but I'm not going to mention any more big blending brushes, so I kind of lied there. The next brush that I'm going to mention is the Morphe M506 brush. So this is still a blending brush, but you can see it's a lot smaller compared to these 2. So the rule of thumb is the smaller the brush, the more detailed and concentrated the color is going to come out. So these brushes are really important, especially if you have small eyes and you don't have a lot of lid space to kind of blend all over. So like I said, I'll kind of use, this is my first transition, this is my second or third, but if I'm really trying to deepen up my crease with a dark and deep color, this is the brush that I'm going to reach for. So like I said, it's the perfect balance between fluffy but small. So if I take like a really dark color to deepen up my crease, I can blend it out. So it's really going to concentrate it so that I don't blend it up too high, but it's also fluffy enough where it's not going to just be a line in the middle of my crease. So if you have a lot of big blending brushes and you're using darker colors with them and you're kind of wondering why your eye looks getting so muddy, I would definitely try a smaller blending brush to get really precise in your crease. So next, I just have a regular old eyeshadow packing brush. This is the Morphe M167. In my opinion, everybody needs about 1 or 2 of these in their collection because this is what you use to pack eyeshadow all over your lid. I don't have too much to say about this because I think it's a pretty like generic brush and a lot of brands sell these types of brushes, but this is the one that I like from Morphe. I think it's a good size, especially for my eye shape. Not too big, not too small, but I can really just kind of pack color pretty precisely on my lid. I know a lot of times these come in like a bigger and more fluffy version, but I like this one just because it's compact and like I said, small, and it fits well with my eye shape. Although I do think this is a pretty standard size and would probably be good for various eye shapes. I just really like it for mine in particular. So our next brush you have seen me use a million times along with every other brush that I have mentioned and am going to mention, but this is the Morphe E18 brush. So this brush is so crucial to me in doing my makeup. I use it for a few different purposes, but like I said, these small like compact detail brushes are just so important for the precise like application of your eyeshadow, and they're especially important if you do have smaller eyes, just for really getting that, again, precise placement. So this is the Morphe E18 brush. It is like a pencil brush, but it's a little bit more rounded at the top. So I like to use this brush, one, just to smoke out my bottom lash line. I think it's great for that. The color deposits right on top. It's easy to just sweep right across your lash line and smoke it out as far as you want. And then I also like this brush for building up halo eyes. So again, the color deposits right on top, so it's easy for me to kind of get in my inner and outer parts of my eye to start building that halo effect when I am doing a halo eye. And again, along with that same type of packing idea, today I use this brush just to pack on the color in my outer corner of my eye. So I really love this brush. I feel like I can do a lot with it. And again, that is the Morphe E18 brush. The next brush is the Morphe M432 brush. So this is just a flat little brush. This is another brush that I really like for my lower lash line if I want to smoke shadow really tight into my lashes. And I also use this when I want to do eyeshadow eyeliner. So I'll just dip this brush into either a black eyeshadow or a brown eyeshadow, and I'll just stamp it along my top lash line, and then I'll kind of wiggle it to blend it out and get that nice like smoky eyeshadow eyeliner type of look without having the harsh line of like a regular eyeliner. I do that technique a lot in my kind of like everyday looks. If you're not somebody who does that too often or really cares about doing that, I would say this might be the one brush in all the ones that I am recommending that you might not need. But if you do like that smoky eyeshadow eyeliner look, I would definitely pick up this brush. And lastly, I have the Morphe M213 brush. This is my cut crease brush. If you're not a big cut creaser, you probably don't need this, but for me, I've talked about this a bunch of times before, so I won't drone on too much about it. But what I like about it is it's small and it's rounded. I'm sorry, I have eyeshadow like all over my hands. Anyway, it is small and rounded, and when you have smaller eyes, it's kind of easier to cut the crease and get in there and do small little strokes so that you get a nice crisp line. I feel like when I watch tutorials of cut creases from people who have more lid space than I do, they tend to use bigger brushes than this. But if you have smaller hooded eyes, I would definitely recommend something a little bit more along the lines of this size, just because it's so small, it gives you more control, and you're not gonna fill up like a big brush like this and stamp it on your eye and get it all over the place. Again, like I said, just with these small brushes, you kind of want that precision and detail so that you don't mess up any of your looks. Alright guys, and that is it for my eye brush recommendations video. I hope it was fairly quick. I will link everything in the description box down below in case you want to check any of the brushes mentioned out. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos like this one. Like this video if it was helpful for you, and follow us both on Instagram, and we will see you in our next video.